Well, guys, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I'm very happy to see several of you here today. Well, my name is Olga, and I work at a language. Can you hear me? Yes? Yeah. Can you hear me? Oh, right, because I usually don't speak loudly enough, so I hope you can hear me very well. If you cannot hear me, just let me know for me to speak louder, okay? Thank you. So, as I was telling you, I work at a language in the academical department. I am also a teacher, of course. I started at a language as a teacher 6 years ago, and I've been in the academical department for almost 4 years, okay? Currently, I'm responsible for recruitment and training and some other things, right? And I came here today mainly, to talk to you, to explain you about a language. A language has been in the cooperative market for almost 30 years, so it's a pretty important company in this environment. And I'd like to tell you some things that a language does, and one of them is the Celta course. Okay, so I'll tell you about this course, its main characteristics, and why we think it would be important for you to have this certification, and then to show you some techniques that are taught in the Celta course. We will have a short demo class of Russian. Do you speak Russian? No. Some words. Привет. Okay. Because I planned a basic level class, so then it was all right? There is no vodka. Okay, that's an important word. Great, all right. So I guess we can consider you are A1 or basic learners of Russian, right? Okay. So as you can see, a language specializes in cooperative training. Okay, I'm sorry, can you see? Can you see? Yeah, now yes, okay. Cooperative training, of course, in the area of languages, okay? Training for teachers and international tests, okay? This is mainly what we do, right? So in general words, as I told you, a language has been in the market for almost 30 years in the cooperative environment, right? We provide training in the companies for, of course, English language training, Spanish, Portuguese for foreigners. We have several students that come from abroad, usually with companies like BMW, etc., several kinds of companies. And we provide them training of Portuguese language. We also have several students for German and some students who need to learn French, because as you must know, in Brazil, we have several French companies or that belong to French groups of companies. So the executives need to communicate in French as well, okay? We have we can say our main office is on Marginal, close from Morumbi Shopping Mall. We also have an office in Alphaville, okay? And we're about to expand to other cities, to have more offices, okay? But we provide classes not only in São Paulo, but also in other cities, right? On remote, okay? That's really possible, okay? Then regarding other products, we have also a translations department. So we have several kinds of translations, translations of documents, translations of texts that are necessary for the companies, consecutive translation, simultaneous translation, okay, different kinds of translation. Regarding the teachers training, we have the TPT, Celta, and Delta courses. Okay. Afterwards, I will give you the card with the contact of the person in charge of the administration of these courses. So if you are interested about further information, you can send her an email. Okay. We also provide international exams like the TOEIC, TOEFL, and CIELI, in not only in São Paulo but also in other cities. CIELI is for the Spanish language. Spanish. Yeah, I asked if we have only English language teachers because in our training I am used to having teachers of several languages, right? So that's why I'm asking. And we also provide exams in other languages, not only English, okay? And we also provide consultancy for the companies, right? So we have several kinds of activities like proficiency assessment and management programs, even with to help the companies when their employees take courses in other schools, like the franchising schools, so we help to manage their progress. Okay, so as you can see, we have several activities in our company, but mainly in company classes and teachers training and international exams are our main activities. All right. So why is Celta meaningful for my career, right? Everyone says that the most important thing when you want to explain something is to give an example, right? So I would like to tell you about me, because I'm a teacher and I took the Celta course. So I'd like to tell you briefly about my experience. I'm not Brazilian. I was born in Russia, in St. Petersburg. And when I was, that's why my name is Olga Kuskina, yeah, weird. And when I was 11, I moved with my family to Argentina, Buenos Aires. Have you been to Buenos Aires? Yeah? Okay. So I lived there for 16 years. So I learned Spanish. Yeah, I went to school there, to university. And I used to work in translation when I lived in Buenos Aires, and I never thought about teaching, because usually translators don't like teaching, right? Because they think, oh no, this is not for me, leave me in my house with my translations, I don't want that, right? And then I moved to Brazil in 2007, and I had an opportunity to start teaching in a franchising school. And then I started, and okay, I didn't know where to start from. Of course, they gave me some kind of training in the school, but I faced many problems with the students. They didn't like my classes very much, and I was not feeling very confident either. But I had to work, right? I had to pay for my bills, so I had to go for it. But it was really difficult. No, it's the truth. It's the truth. Then I went to another school. It was a bit better, but it was a bit difficult. And the coordinator at that school told me, you should take the Celta course. It's really good. It will help you. Okay, then I've got some information about it, and I found it a bit expensive. But they said, no, with the Celta course, you will be much better in your career. I said, okay, I'll go for it. And I took the intensive modality at Up Language. It doesn't exist anymore, the intensive modality, because believe me, it's too much. So now you have only the regular course. There is also an online modality. So I took the Celta course. I studied really hard, really hard, and I've got a B. The B. You can get pass, you passed, okay. You can get C or B or A. Okay, so I've got a B. Okay, I've got a B. I was relieved. Then I stayed in that school for some time, and afterwards I was not happy anymore with the payment. So I took my CV to Up Language and to some other schools, and I put Celta B. guess how much time passed from the moment I delivered my CV until they called me? Guess. I took my CV. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I left my CV with the Celta B in the front. In 10 minutes they called me. Olga, you've got Celta B? Yes. When can you come over for an interview? I said, okay, tomorrow. Then I went for the interview. Okay, what's your availability? How many groups you can get? And I was like, wow. And then I started working at a language. Yeah. And currently, this is my story. Afterwards, I became part of the academical department. Now I'm responsible for recruitment. And the basis of all that is my Celta course. All the other courses that I took are short courses that I take at Coursera, internal courses that we have in our company. All my basis is the Celta course. So this is my experience, okay? And I tell this to everyone, okay? And when I receive a CV, someone who got Celta, I mean, this person has to be called immediately, because we know that this person can go there and give a good class. Okay, it's guaranteed. And of course the hourly payment increases, right? Because the Celta course gives you the techniques that you need to deal with the students, to solve the problems, to adapt according to your students' needs, okay? And everyone knows that, okay? And according to the grade that you've got on your Celta course, you will receive a higher hourly payment from the beginning. Yeah, of course, if you get a B or an A, even better, okay? But even if you got a pass, that's great. That means you can manage all that, okay? So you will be always the priority in the recruitment process, even if there are other candidates who have more certificates from university, right? The Celta course gives you priority among them. This is the truth, okay? Because it's a very practical course, okay? So I'm telling you the truth for you to know, okay? Because I'm responsible for recruitment, and this is my experience as well, okay? So you can, having the Celta certificate, you can not only work in Brazil, but also abroad. Because this certificate is not from a language. This certificate is from Cambridge University. So this enables you to teach adults anywhere in the world. I have some friends who are currently working in China, okay? For women, it's not the best option, but for men, you can make a lot of money in Saudi Arabia, right? But it's a bit restricted in terms of habits, right? Because there are many things you cannot do, but you can make a lot of money, okay? You can teach immigrants in Europe, in lots of places, because you have the certificate from Cambridge that enables you to do so, okay? So your opportunities expand a lot, okay? So, of course, I highly recommend, right? Well, now, yes. Saudi Arabia, the Middle East.
Because I find it so hard to go there.
Yes. Now, as I said, of course, these kinds of places is not recommendable for women because they have a lot of restrictions for women, and we are not used for that. We're not used to have to live this way, right? Starting from the clothes and lots of other things, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I called the embassy
Yeah.
and they asked me, I will last week. I said, no, I'm checked.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, well, then the procedures to get the working permission from the country, that's another thing, okay? But for the schools that need teachers, you are certified by Cambridge University to teach adults anywhere in the world, okay? Then sometimes if the school is interested, for example, some schools from China post this kind of advertisement that they need teachers, then they would help you to do this, all these procedures with the documents, okay? Now, some countries can be more difficult due to their restrictions, but not because of your teaching certificate. It's due to their restrictions, okay? Fine. So, well, as I told you, I will give you the contacts of the person in charge of this course so you can ask her more questions afterwards, okay? Well, we talked about the Celta in your career, okay? The Celta in your CV, yeah, as I told you. Okay, and now you're going to learn a little bit of Russian. Are you ready? Let me check the time because I talk a lot. Okay. Добрый день. Добрый день. Меня зовут Ольга. Как вас зовут? Меня зовут Ольга. Ольга. Как вас зовут?
Меня зовут Уильям.
Уильям. Очень приятно познакомиться. Olivia, William. Как вас зовут? Познакомиться. Познакомиться. Прекрасно. Меня. Это неправильно. Теперь. Меня зовут Оливия, меня зовут Бруно, меня зовут Энрике. Как вас зовут? Очень приятно познакомиться.
Меня зовут Оливия.
All right, so you did very well. Congratulations. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about what happened. Okay. So you didn't know any Russian, right? Okay. Okay. And you learned a very simple dialogue, which would be the equivalent to my name is and blah blah blah, nice to meet you. Was it easy or difficult? Okay, so this is the way the basic learners feel.
Not in singular.
No?
Because when you are going to learn a language, we hope to learn that language. Not a surprise.
Yes, okay, yeah, it was a surprise. Yes, it was a surprise. But I mean, in terms of that you don't know anything about it. So even something simple was difficult for you in the beginning, right? So sometimes we forget how it feels when you don't know anything about a language. And that's why the basic learners sometimes feel scared, or they feel it's too much for them, even when we're teaching very simple dialogues, okay? So a lot of practice is required, okay? Probably if you were taking a course of Russian language, okay, we would finish this for today, and then on the following class we would have to practice this again, right? Then it would be better for you to memorize, okay? Did I use any English to give you instructions? No. Maybe some people were better to understand me, what you had to do. Some people not, okay? But okay, on the following class, you will do it better, okay? So no big deal if someone started a bit later, okay? But sooner or later, you understood what you had to do. And mainly we can use, what did we use? We use gestures, or we use other people, okay? Or we use a picture, okay? Because how did you know you were learning how to introduce yourself? How did you know that? Excuse me? I did it first, okay? I used Enrique and? Okay, good, because you know that's him, yes. And maybe you didn't realize, but there was a picture, yeah, so and somehow it gives you the message that, okay, some people are introducing each other, okay, it helps. The body language, yes, so we can use all these resources, okay? So we started from the introduction of the language. Did we deal first with the pronunciation, or you saw first the written form? First the pronunciation, afterwards the written form, okay? Because if you would have seen the written form first, believe me, we would have not achieved these results, because when you see the written form, it's really scary, right? Let me go back. It's really scary, especially the last part, okay? So we always deal first with the pronunciation and afterwards the written form, okay? Then we introduced the form, and then did you do anything? What did you do? You repeated, and afterwards? You did the dialogue, okay? You did the dialogue. Did you do the complete dialogue from the beginning? No, you didn't do this part. Only the first one, okay? Then afterwards, I introduced the last part, then I showed you the written form, and then you did the complete dialogue, okay? And then, what did you have to write? The sentence in the correct order, because the words were jumbled, okay? So that was a written practice, because the written practice is necessary to create this concept in our brain. For most people, it's necessary. Otherwise, you cannot create this thing in your brain, okay? And finally, what did you do? Use your names. Okay. Without reading, okay? So I removed the written part, okay? And then you stood up and you practiced the same thing in a free way, okay? So according to the communicative approach and the other techniques taught in the Celta course, this would be always the objective, the free production by the end of the class. The students should be better able to communicate something. Okay, so the whole class is for that objective. All right. So mainly this is what we did. I think we are about to finish. So I will give you now some brochures from Up Language that give the main information about our company. Inside you will find the card of Vanessa Sato. Vanessa Sato is the administrator of the Celta course. So please, you can send her an email if you would like further information. And afterwards, I will also give you my card if you are interested in sending your CV, because we are always hiring nice people. Like, okay, so if you can send it, please. Another thing that I would like to comment is that, of course, this is not the Russian alphabet. Okay. This is just the transcription. The Russian alphabet is completely different. Okay, so then we would have to have some literacy practice for you to learn the alphabet and then be able to read and write in Russian. Okay, but that would take some time so we can start speaking. Thank you. So we can start speaking before you learn the alphabet. Okay. Now I will give you my card also. Okay, if you are interested in sending your CV, or if you have any questions. Yeah, because Vanessa is the administrator of the Celta course. Okay. Can you give to the girls? Yes, please. Then. Do you have any questions? Would you like to ask me anything about what we did in the demo? Yes, please.
No.
Can you? Thank you.
For you to take this as a course, do you need to have any qualifications?
Okay. It is not required to present any qualifications. However, you need to fill in an application. You need to write kind of not an essay, kind of composition. Yes, I'm not sure about the topic. And you need to have an interview with one of the tutors of the course, because of course you need to be proficient in the language. Okay, so these are the requirements. Okay, you fill in an application. Excuse me? No problem. It's one semester. It's 6 months. It takes 6 months. On Fridays. The classes happen on Fridays. Yes. Then you have a... well, I'm not sure about the schedule precisely, but let me just remember just a minute. If I'm not mistaken, currently it starts around 12 midday, yeah, the Celta course, and it goes up to 8 p.m., approximately 9 p.m. on Fridays, okay? But the schedule might have some changes depending on the semester, okay? But more or less, it's this amount of hours on Fridays, okay? And classes happen close from here, in Anhembi, Morumbi University on Rua 13 de Maio, right? So we use the rooms there on Friday, only on Fridays. Yeah, more or less from 12 to 8 p.m., more or less, yes. Then during the course there are sessions. As far as I know, currently there are no intensive courses being run. In the past, there was an intensive modality that was only 1 month, but it was, you have to stop your life for 1 month. So I think it's not being, I think they're not doing it anymore, the intensive modality. But you can check with Vanessa. Yeah, you can check it. No, intensive, no. Because I think it was too stressful. Yeah. All right. Well, yes, sure. Yes. Work. right. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It seems accepted internationally. Очень приятно познакомиться. Очень приятно
Приятно
познакомиться.
познакомиться.
Yes.
Что difficult.
All right. Well, so thank you very much. I enjoyed a lot this time with you. And очень приятно познакомиться. Thank you.